introducing our new book club. I am so excited for this because honestly, like, I've been part of a book club for the last 2 years and it's absolutely changed my life. So, well, Lisa, tell me a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I have never been in a book club. I've always heard of them, but I've never been in a space where, like, it's been an offer, no brainer, go in. I've just never been following the right person, I guess, where they have a book club. And I will be honest, I'm not a massive reader. Which is funny because everyone else in my life is.
Right.
But I want to change that. That's why when you mentioned about the book club, it was just like, yeah, let's go for it. I want to read more. I want to read more of this, kind of like different topics. I want to explore it. It gets the brain working, and there's just so many benefits to reading.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to explore that, because I think, like, yes, obviously you get so much information from it and it's really beneficial in that respect, but we know, like, at the end of your day, putting your phone down and reading for an hour before bed has so many benefits to that. So I love how much comes with it, and also with your guidance of the books to read.
I've read a lot, like, literally, because, you know, part of the book club, I was reading a book a month. So that's 24 books over, like, a space of 2 years. Now, not many people can actually say that, and I think being part of this book club is the accountability part as well.
Absolutely.
And not only that, I think not everybody can or wants to invest in different protocols that we've spoken about, or coaches and things like that. But starting with a book, anybody can do.
Yes.
And I always believe that you're not going to take every single point away from the books that we, the self-development books that we read, but what it does do is I believe that the messages that you do take away are the messages that you are supposed to hear at that time.
And that, when you said that like really resonates with me, because I remember when I was, like, straight out of school and I was in a full-time job, and they brought someone in to talk about mindset, growth versus fixed mindset. And I thought it was the biggest load of mumbo jumbo I've ever heard. I was literally like, I was just in a whole different place.
When was this? How long ago was this?
Oh, this was, I was 19.
Right, okay.
So nearly 10 years ago.
Right.
And yeah, I just remember I didn't get anything out of it, like, not for myself. I was very fixed mindset back in those days. It was very much you get what you're given and you make the most of that. Whereas if that same person, it could well be the case that same person held a talk for me, like, within the past year, I would have got a whole lot from from those exact same words. So it's so true that you will get what you're supposed to get from that. And that's why, like, reread a book from 5 years ago and you will get something different from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I absolutely love about it. So the first book that we're going to be introducing is one of my personal favourites, and it's Good Vibes, Good Life by Vex King. Have you heard of this book?
I've heard it chucked around, and I've definitely seen the front cover, but I've not dug any deeper with it.
Oh,
so what is it about? Like, is there a core?
Yeah, so basically I've read this a couple of times, and like you said, you get different things from different times. And for me, first of all, I just love the aesthetic look. Yeah. I do love a book, and I just think it's such a lovely, easy read, basically. And it's a little deep, but not too deep. It's it's got a very good way of wording things, keeping it simple but understandable.
Oh, I love that.
And a lot of it is around self-love, and he talks a lot about what's missing from the law of attraction in terms of the law of vibration.
Oh, okay.
Which is something you're going to love because of the energy healing side of it. He talks a lot about the manifestation and your goals, but he also talks about pain, but how to, and I always say this especially to my clients, but pain is a catalyst for change, because that is a moment when it's like, enough is enough, and it's about the power of your language and the power of your words and how you can, because he talks about his backstory as well, and like what's happened to him, and how he's absolutely turned his life around. I mean, he's a best-selling author now. So I'm so excited to read this book.
And that's always, there's nothing more inspirational than hearing someone's backstory to see where they are now. And you look at them and you think, really, I never would have known that about you. And that's why they've written a book, so that you can have that same transformation, that same empowerment to make change in your own life. So I'm excited to give it a read. I'm excited to talk about it. I feel like so much more is ingrained when you talk about the book. And I don't know if you find this, but like, how often are you reading the same book as someone else in your family or friends or whatever, and you might start like mentioning different areas from the book, but then it's hard for that person to relate because they're not in the middle of the book as well, whereas I feel like this is going to be like, what about that thing and what about that, and I found that chapter, I don't know, I'm just excited to be like go really geek in. It's not something I've explored really before. I had negative connotations with books when I was younger because I didn't like education and they made me read books. Whereas now we get a say in the books we're reading. And there's so much from that. So I'm excited to get started. Like you say, the aesthetic is right up my street. So
it's very if you've not seen it, Google it. It's a very nice aesthetic, and like I said, it's a really easy book to read. So
it's a good starting place as well, I think, which is we're right at the start, so that makes sense. And the whole point of this is that we'll release this so people have got enough time to order the book themselves. I've just ordered mine. So then you've got a month to give it a read, and then absolutely something we'll be discussing again on our socials. But it'll be exciting to turn up next month and dig deep into it. I
think because everybody's got a different internal representation and a different perspective of the world. And I think what I will take away from this book and implement it into my life is going to be completely different to yours and our listeners as well. And that is what I want to hear, because sometimes, you hear someone's story and was like, oh, I never looked at it like that, or I never thought of it like that.
Absolutely.
And it's just creating that community for us, I think, and other people that they've got. It's a safe space for people. You know what I mean? Like where they can openly talk about things, they can share it with us if they want, or they can just take things away that's really going to help and elevate their life. Absolutely. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because how often I listen to a podcast and someone will say something, share their experience, and then the follow-up question from the host is wildly different to what my follow-up question would be. So it'll be interesting for us to come in and see our different perspectives, like straight up right in front of us. This is what I got from it, that's what you got from it. And then you might say it and be like, I don't even remember that bit in the book, like exactly. My brain just completely fogged over that. So I think it's like a social experiment to see what we get from it, what the listeners get from it as well, and then just go from there. So if you haven't ordered your book, like Lisa said, get on Amazon. Good Vibes Good Life by Vex King, and we will see you on a future episode.
Exactly.